Alright YouTube, so we are finally back. It's been like 4 days since I put out a video. Been enjoying 4th of July and seeing family that I barely ever get to see. This is like the longest break I've had from YouTube in a while. I try to put out a video as often as I can, whether that's every day or every other day, so it's kind of weird for me to not be doing YouTube for like 3 or 4 days, but anyways, we're back at it. We're here to talk about FF8 Remaster and the possibility of there being voice acting. If this ends up being true, which it looks like it might be, this would be shocking for a lot of reasons, mainly because I don't know of any remasters of older games that didn't have voice acting, that were text-based only, getting a full-on voice acting cast. But we've also seen them port and remaster 7 and 9, which are arguably more popular, especially 7, to multiple different platforms, and they didn't get any voice acting. Now this information comes to us from the actual Square Enix website, the official website for FF8 Remaster, from the actual source code. Now, I'm not exactly sure who found this first. I've looked at multiple different articles, and several different articles source different locations and people as the origins of this, so I don't know who found it first. Regardless, I'll have my stuff linked below, but it says, widely beloved, Final Fantasy VIII casts unlikely heroes into a war to save the world. The military nation of Galbadia has declared war on the Dukedom of Dalit, who are left with no choice but to hire a mercenary force for their defense. Enters Seed and its newest member, Squall Leonhart. Together with his friends, Squall joins Rinoa heartily, a member of a resistance group, on an adventure that holds the fate of their world in its balance. Final Fantasy VIII Remaster marks the 20th anniversary of its original release with a complete visual refresh and brings the game's classic story to modern platforms. Steam, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. With fully overhauled visuals, see your favorite characters come to life like never before. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered is an RPG available in English and Japanese voiceover, and is also text localized into French, Italian, German, and Spanish. And again, this comes from the official Square Enix website for Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. This isn't some random website. They typed this up themselves. I've seen some people talking about this over the past couple days, talking about it's not confirmed yet. It's kind of a rumor at this point. Like, how is it remotely a rumor, dude? This comes from them. It's their official website. They typed up the words English and Japanese voiceover. So because of that, it's all but confirmed, really. We just need them to come out and be like, hey, this is the release date for FF8 Remaster. Also, the game's going to have English and Japanese voice acting. Now, when I first heard this news, my initial thought was it's got to be during cutscenes only. That's the only way they can do this, right? And then it clicked, like, 7, 8, 9 didn't have talking during, like, cutscenes and cinematics. Otherwise, there would have to be voice acting or subtitles at the bottom of the screen. Oddly enough, however, the original Final Fantasy VII actually did this with the final cutscene after you fight Sephiroth and, trying to get out of the Northern Cave. There's actually subtitles during that end cutscene. And it just doesn't fit with the rest of the game because no other cinematics in FF7 have subtitles at the bottom of the screen. I feel like they should have just put forth the resources to at least voice this in cutscene. So since there isn't any dialogue during cinematics for Final Fantasy VIII, at least to the best of my memory, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a long time since I played the game, then this should mean that the entire game is going to be voiceover. At least the vast majority of the game, because obviously, again, there's not really any talking during cinematics, and I don't think they'd add voiceover to any of the battles or whatever. But a large portion of the game is told to you through text, and that's all going to be voiceover now, at least according to the source code of the website. So this is a huge undertaking if they do this. The thing is, I'm not sure if they're going to voiceover the entire game, or just like the main cast of characters. Like, are all the NPCs that you can talk to in the game, are those going to have voices as well, or is it just going to be the people in your party, like Laguna and his group, and then like some of the other main characters of the story? Or again, is it going to be every single NPC that you can engage in dialogue? So I'm not really sure how they're going to do this, exactly how they would even do voiceover, because this is so like unprecedented. They haven't done this before. I don't know of any other remasters that have done something like this. So I don't think calling it a rumor or whatever is necessarily accurate, but also can't definitively say 100% it's going to happen. But how can you not think that, given that this comes from their official website? The thing is, we've had some of the characters from FF8 voiced before in things like Dissidia and Kingdom Hearts, so it'll be interesting to see if they even do this, how much of the game is going to be voiced, and if we're going to see some of the same voice actors come back. And one last thing I want to touch on really quickly, if I can, is Nightsky Prince did a video pretty recently kind of complaining about how they're not going to make the backgrounds of Final Fantasy VIII look any better, or the FMVs, cinematics, whatever. They're not going to make them look any better either. And how that's kind of a problem because everybody obviously has like HD monitors, HD televisions now, and the game's going to kind of look washed out on those. The thing is, in that Yoshinori Kitase interview with Famitsu, he talks about how they were initially going to leave the graphics the same and just put it on modern consoles, and they decided to change up the character models. Just because he's only talking about character models doesn't mean that's the only thing they improved. And if we even go back to that source code thing, it literally says a complete visual refresh, which to me sounds like the entire game. So I think it's just kind of him jumping to conclusions simply because Yoshinori Kitase only talked about character models with that answer. And really quickly, before people jump to conclusions about this, just because I'm critiquing the guy and talking about a video he uploaded doesn't mean I'm attacking him or trying to start drama. But I think it's a bit problematic given that he has a pretty decent sized audience to be making videos like that with no substantial evidence. And I'm not sure if he's played Final Fantasy VII and 9 on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or anything, but I think the games look absolutely fine. They don't just try to like stretch them to fit modern televisions, they give them bars at the side, and I think they look great. And this is pre-remaster gameplay here, and I think the backgrounds look fine. I think the cinematics look fine from the original game, and they're the least of my worries. Like, I could care less if they improve the backgrounds or the cinematics. If they want to, I'm absolutely all for it, obviously, but that's the least of my worries. I'm just glad the game's happening. At one point, he also says that they didn't improve the FMVs or backgrounds for 7 or 9, but as you can see right here, the very first line for the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII, they improved the background. It's not exactly the same as making the graphics better, but it's not like they left it untouched either. Now, the FMVs for both of those games, at least for me on Xbox One, looked exactly the same, but again, I don't really care about that anyway, and I don't care about that for Final Fantasy VIII Remaster. I'm just glad the game's coming out. Anyways, my dudes, that's pretty much the video, kind of your roundup of Final Fantasy VIII Remaster news. The main thing, of course, though, is obviously the voice acting thing. If this shit happens, man, it's going to be insane, and that'll be the ultimate fan service for FF8 Remaster, since fans have been wanting it for such a long time. And they kind of, refused more or less to, remaster the game, give it a proper HD port, and if they're doing that now, but also adding, voice acting to the game, entirely, that's going to be crazy as hell, man. Anyways, as always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with more Final Fantasy VIII Remaster content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @the-David. I'm a Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby, or at least less like